Yes, it's on. Good morning. This is Jericho. We're live. Aaron and I, this is Coffee with the Summerland Kids.
Yeah, I figured let's just start a little bit early today. I think that we missed some pretty quality stuff by not going live right out the gate yesterday.
No, for sure. And I was just telling Aaron, I went and saw the Bob Marley movie yesterday. I'm up in Colorado, and the solar eclipse really wasn't visible because of the cloud pattern and such wasn't. We're not in the prime spot, so I'm like, heck, I'll just go see that movie. And I just want to say, amazing job. Ziggy Marley did a little announcement in the very beginning of the film. Before the film even starts, Ziggy comes on and has a little saying that he was in production with the crew the whole time they were filming to make sure that his family was really well respected and well, done in the best way possible. It's a biopic, which is basically actors playing the roles. And I know how challenging it is to really nail down a tribute to someone. And I want to say they did an amazing job. They had an incredible cast and crew, and they pulled it off. And it's a great film. It's not a documentary. It's it is the life story of Bob Marley. And so I just want to say cheers to the Marley family. You guys did an excellent job and very well done. Cheers to that.
Bob Marley, what a cool thing.
Absolutely.
I remember I think it was way back in Summerland when I heard about Bob Marley and Pato Bonton and all the reggae bands and stuff. Remember in Summerland school when we had the eclipse and we all went out with the glasses and the little boxes?
Yeah, and we make a little tiny hole in the paper and do our check it out. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so Aaron and I, if some of you guys don't know, Aaron and I went to Summerland School Elementary back in the day in the 1970s. So Aaron and I are both, I think we're Gen X kids, and we were raised free range in Summerland, California, and here we are. And this jacket I did for years ago. I was invited to an event, and I was trying to conceive of how can I put myself together for this show, and I came up with the idea of rolling tires over a tie and a jacket to create this print. So it was successful, and this one's definitely like reggae inspired. The red, gold, and green are sort of the reggae colors. So here I am.
That's awesome. That's I just the other day a friend of mine had I helped him out with his tools. He had a box with a bunch of spray cans. And I'm like, let me get those. I gotta paint my office.
Yeah.
So I think if there's red and black and green and gold, I'm definitely gonna go with some Rasta colors. I got a door that whoever had the house before, they had graffitied the inside of the door.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's a fun thing.
I gotta put my own symbols on it.
That's yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just fun to shake the can and get into the mode, Got to give a shout out to Dylan Judah. He's a member of he went to Summerland School for 6th grade, and he has since definitely become a recording artist and a musician, a singer, vocalist, if that's the right term. And he's definitely in the reggae vibe. He went to Jamaica as a young man and came back a whole new person. It was literally like a complete transformation for him. But he definitely has the roots and the soul in him. Born in, I'd have to check on his roots, but he definitely was in Summerland in the early days. He was a little younger than us, but big shout out to Dylan Judah and all his work that he's doing in and outside of the music business. He's definitely made big strides. I saw a video he posted yesterday. He said it was like something like number 3 in Jamaica. This may be 10 years ago, but the music he's done has been acknowledged by the reggae community as being a vital part of it. So that's cool.
No, I think back, just my whole life on the Central Coast, it seems like we're trendsetters. It seems like here on the Central Coast, we were talking yesterday about the Sims wheel and different things that come out of Summerland and where I'm from, Santa Barbara, Central Coast, San Luis Obispo. I think that it's the crossroads between Northern and Southern California. So a lot of things we get to see a lot, and then a lot of people get to see what we're all about too, passing through as a tourist town.
Yeah, and I've given it a lot of thought. Recently, just thinking about the soil and the climate, like the Mediterranean climate of Santa Barbara, the unique spot. It's almost like kind of like Hawaii or something, in that the growth that come up as far as the organic flowers and the trees and everything that's come to be Santa Barbara and the Central Coast is like, it's not only wine country in the Central Coast, but down in Santa Barbara, my grandfather on my mother's side grew orchids, and just found that like microclimate of Santa Barbara, Carpinteria, Summerland was like the perfect growing atmosphere, not only for plants, but I feel for humans, for us, it gave us a real, almost like a supercharged youth of sorts.
I think you're right. I think that I did a report in college about how the different. I was a environmental report, right? So I was just kind of thinking every single type of environment, other than Arctic, is within like an hour and a half of the Central Coast. So you can get to Alpine, the mountains. You get to desert, you can get to chaparral, coastal, mountain, all 7 different environmental regions are within like 2 hours of the Central Coast.
Yeah, there's so much diversity. I mean, I remember as a kid, we would drive over the mountain, over San Marcos Pass, and go out to Paradise Road to go to the San Ynez River. On a foggy day in Summerland, all you got to do is get up to the top of the mountain, go over the other side, and it's completely sunny in San Ynez.
Yeah, there's a lot of like, I guess they call it microclimates.
Yeah.
I know even when it's raining, you could be like 2 blocks away just because of the hill formation, and it'll be downpouring. And 2 blocks away from there, it'll be clear.
It's
just the microclimate. There's so many different microclimates.
Yeah. And for some reason, also, I guess in the early days of Summerland, they found oil, and it was probably just natural seepage. I guess that they probably just were like, they didn't even have to drill, but they did drill, and they did put up a bunch of piers off the coast of Summerland. I think there was a placard down there at Lookout Park that said the site of the first offshore oil drilling happened in Summerland. So another weird fact about our hometown, it was a little oil boom back in the early, I would say late 1800s, early 1900s, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's I always remember looking at the oil derricks out there, and at one time there seemed to be so many of them. But then I look back at the old pictures when they first started doing it, and it was wall to wall oil wells and stuff.
Yeah,
and they had just kind of it's like we talk about us changing, or some of our friends growing up and doing things, and the little town grew up. And even San Luis Obispo, when I first moved there, was lots of open fields, and now it's shopping centers and parking lots.
Yeah.
So everybody grows up. I think that for me, what is important is holding on to that child mind, that child heart, and being able to live through life. As adults, we got a lot of difficulties, reality. Yeah. But if we could take it with a good attitude and play with it like a child might, I think it's so much better. Like me and you getting together, it's just like we're just 2 old buddies.
I know, exactly.
I was thinking about it, and like, oh, how do we make the show more appealing to the grander audience? And it's like, nah, they'll find us. We'll be exactly who we are.
And that's right. You nailed it. And I want to touch on that with that one. I think it's Joni Mitchell. Paved Paradise put up a parking lot. It went to another level when I was in Los Angeles. The parking lot that was paved over, that became something that was taken over to another level, and they built apartments on top of that. So it's like you actually, we love the open space, even if it was a paved parking lot, but they took that away. So it's like, thank God for the open spaces in the country that still exist out there.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I think about it as my life, but I think about I watch a lot of like ancient history stuff,
Nice.
Romans and Greece and ancient Russia, ancient Mesopotamia, ancient Africa, Native American stuff, and it's like all back, even back where there was lots of people, and there was outskirts of cities, and then there's trade routes with the wilderness, and in a way, there's still that stuff today, even though, rather than walking or riding a camel, we can jump in our trucks or our cars or motorcycles.
Yeah.
I wonder, how humanity, the essence of what a person is, social, being productive, contributing, enjoying the good things in life, if you will. That's got to be something that's been around for thousands of years, not just us in our lives when we grew up in Summerland, but all humanity.
Yeah.
I'm on
And before
I was
us,
trying to write a poem this morning. Couldn't even write a poem. I'm going slow this
yeah.
morning. Bear with me, Jericho.
No, you're good, man. You freaking the Chumash Indians were in Santa Barbara before we were. I know that for sure. My dad, there was artifacts that they were finding alongside the beaches in Santa Barbara from the ancient cultures that were predated us, of course. And there's little cave paintings up. I think they call it Painted Cave in Santa Barbara. So it's pretty amazing to be born and raised in a place that was significantly a Native American populated area.
Well, the whole, I mean, American history is one thing, but the reality of it is there's the Trail of Tears all throughout this continent.
Yeah.
From the east to the west, there was people here before the city dwellers, if you will, started building their cities. Not that I have anything against cities, because I appreciate what they are. It's a bunch of humanity heaped together. But it sure is nice to get back to the roots of Summerland, where there was just a few of us on the beach.
Exactly. And back then it was just it was so the population was definitely less. There was, in the 1970s, the houses, I'm guessing, were, some of them were 70 years old. They were built in 1900 or those early years. So we were living in the homes of other folks. You mentioned your grandmother was. Do you remember her, or was she passed on before you were born? Or
I remember both of my grandmothers, both of my grandfathers.
wow.
I never met. I met my grandma's second husband.
Okay.
And he was kind of my grandpa growing up.
Yeah. And they were your grandma lived in Summerland back then?
She lived in North Hollywood.
Okay.
And then when she got remarried, she moved. I'm not sure if it's Summerland or Carpinteria.
Okay.
Yeah, on Beach Club Road.
Oh, right.
So between Santa Claus Lane and Summerland proper.
Padero Lane. Yeah. Yeah, I think our ancestors saw the beauty of Santa Barbara, and it was just unquestionably amazing. I mean, they may have been from a place where there was lakes, but having the Pacific Ocean in your front yard, there's nothing like it.
Well, there really isn't. I mean, California is a unique place. It really is. I mean, and then when you go, okay, you think about California, everyone thinks LA or San Francisco or maybe Sacramento. But there's that little keystone, the Central Coast, Summerland, California is pretty much the center of it almost.
Yeah. And like you said, yeah,
And it's just awesome.
it is awesome. And like you said, if you blink, you miss it. You know, like a friend of mine the other day was up in Santa Barbara, and she made a post, and I'm like, you got to go visit this place. You know, I mentioned a couple little stores for her to visit, and then I didn't even mention Summerland, but you know, I was like, hey, on your return trip, check out my hometown. But it's like you said, if you blink, you miss it on the 101.
Yeah, I think what is there going north? There's two exits, yep. And going south, there's 2 exits.
Right.
But only one of them goes to town. One of them is kind of up there by Prado Road, towards in between Carpinteria.
Yeah, exactly. Padero Lane. Yeah, the Padero exit. I think the next one's like Evans or something. And you know, for a little history, Aaron's house was after he left. It became a sandwich shop called Stacky's Seaside, and then they were there for a good 20 plus years. And then after that, you know, I think I heard Rusty's Pizza was going to move in, but I don't know if that ever happened.
I thought it was Rusty's Pizza first for like a year.
Oh, okay. Wow.
But it didn't pan out. Yeah. And you know, downtown Summerland's a trip because you always had Lucky's sandwiches, Lucky's kind of grocer. Yep. You had the liquor store and you had the Nugget.
Yeah.
And then you had, you know, the Big Yellow House was in operation back then. Yeah. But there's always been that little burger shop, which now the Nugget took over Lucky's, and now instead of Lucky's, I guess is up the street, but it's not the same.
No, it's not.
And so there's still a sandwich shop and a burger place right downtown. Nothing changes, Jericho. Nothing.
Right. That little town, man. Aaron and I definitely feel blessed, and we're just exploring with our childhood classmates. You know, to me, it's like the mystery of what happened to our classmates, and that's definitely part of our, you know, my quest, and to find out, you know, gather us together in one place. We call it Summerland Book. It's a little small private group on Facebook, and I've been inviting more, especially Summerland school kids and those kids that maybe been a little older. I don't know if you remember, but it was an alternative school in Summerland called Crone School. Do you remember Crone School?
I do not. I remember Sunday school. They had candy.
Oh, that's cool. Nice.
What is Crone School?
Crone School. There was a kid in our school, John Crone, and you know, one of his cohorts, Andy Flint. They were definitely wild kids back then, and I think because they kept getting, well, especially John, but they would get like expelled or asked to leave for a couple of days, or however they did it in elementary school. Because when you act up, there's like, you know, the teacher's got to scold you or something. And so they developed this Crone School, was like alternative school for kids that weren't really, you know, whether they had, you know, ADD or whatever the prognosis was, or the diagnosis. They basically the parents created a place for them, essentially like a homeschool, but for more than just their kids. So, yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because school trips me out. Who let the chickens out? Who let the dogs out?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to put some video on you. You can see what we got going here.
Yeah. Nice.
The chickens are out of the coop.
Classic.
And the Blue Jays in.
That's awesome.
There's the solar eclipse. I'm the moon.
Yeah, that's killer, man. Good to see you.
See if I can get one of these chickens on camera. Come here, chicken. Come here.
Yeah, that's super old school Summerland roots, man. With the yeah, hell yeah. That's how Summerland was. You know, you're carrying on the tradition of Summerland by being you know, having your little home farm. That's freaking awesome, man.
No, I hope we get the farm soon.
Yeah.
We've got a bunch of dirt.
That's cool.
We've got a bunch of this is the garage. This is my office studio.
Yeah. You did a great job, man. I'm glad you got a home and a place that it's a work in progress, but it's freaking awesome.
No, I'm it's weird because I've had to leave everything behind more than once.
Oh yeah.
As far as material possessions, and
right.
whether it's a landlord or a situation. And I always hated the fact that my landlord could say, "Oh, well, my family's coming from back east. They're going to be moving in. You got to move out."
Right.
Or, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You want to plant a tree or a garden or have a pet, and the landlord's like, "Oh, it's extra $100 per pet per month or something."
It's like parking spaces.
And they do that, and so
no, I feel you, man.
Yeah, it's a good blessing. I'm really like, it's a lot different.
Yeah, well, thank God you can finally, put your roots down and you have a home, and it's freaking amazing now, and it's your own home. What a blessing.
Yeah, gosh. I don't know if anybody's listening, but I mean, really, all it took was me and my girlfriend made a decision. Let's start saving to see what we can save up for.
Yeah.
We cut out all the restaurant trips. We, utilize, leverage everything. We even went to food banks to save on grocery bills.
Yeah, do whatever you have.
Shared rent, live in a small space, and really, we're able to save quite a bit of money pretty quickly.
That's amazing.
When you start talking about a couple $100 a week and going out to eat or luxuries or take a road trip, $20-$30 in gas for the weekend, $50 in tickets and out to eat, you're looking at a couple $100 a week. That's almost $1,000 a month.
Yeah. That's
almost $10,000 in a year. That's all it really takes for a down payment on a house.
That's awesome, man. That's amazing. And I know that I was always very creative in finding obscure housing arrangements in Los Angeles to sort of keep myself out of the high rent, aspects. So there is hope for sure in finding that home.
Oh, yeah. I kind of lucked out, being able to stay on the Central Coast, actually pretty close to the beach for a while in by Pismo Beach. A guy had a property that was still technically a farm property in town because he had it for so long. So he had a couple roommates, and it wasn't like a big fancy beach house. It was just an old beach shack.
Yeah. Wow.
And so I was able to afford to stay on the coast there.
That's cool.
And then decided to move up here.
Yeah. I mean, you're still in California, so that's a good thing. I mean, I know that a lot of people have a lot of, there's a lot of talk about California and this and that, and people are leaving and all that. But hey, I guess it's, to some degree, the people that really want to be there will be there. I guess that's the bottom line.
Yeah, the economy, I guess, is one thing. The government, the taxes or whatever is another thing. The cities, everyone hears about the cities. You go Skid Row in Los Angeles or San Francisco. And yeah, there's definitely a homeless situation. There was a lot of fires up here, so a lot of people lost their property their entire lives. My two sides of my family, my auntie and my stepmom, burned out. Literally.
Wow.
Jump in the car, grab your purse, and make sure you grab the cats and get in the car and run, driving through fire on both sides of the road.
Wow.
So it's a tricky thing, not like I worry about my kid because of what I've been through. Sure, he's doing fine now, but all it's going to take is lose a job, a car accident, a medical bill, and you're behind on rent. And if you don't have the emotional support to pick yourself up, or maybe a little, support, I just see it. I talk to people sometimes on the streets because I feel for them, And that's
No, for sure.
usually the story is, yeah, their family, and then so they're on the streets, they're horrible suffering, so they find drugs that makes them numb, and now they don't have to feel the pain that they're feeling physically, emotionally, mentally. Anyway, I feel bad about that. When I
I
was in
know.
LA, I did some outreach.
That's good. I was living right next to it myself in downtown LA, right adjacent to Skid Row for years. And you know, when you face it on the daily, you do kind of get a little bit numb to it. But the reality is that there is a lot of help given by different nonprofit organizations in downtown LA to help the homeless. And but there is, like, you know, to find that ray of hope in your life, and that's important. You know, wherever you get it, um, you know, that's the key to me. It's a challenging situation for sure. Thankfully, we survived as long as we have, and now with the technology, we're able to meet up again, even though we're not in close proximity to go, hey neighbor, but at least we're able to get on with this and get our communication on, and then share it with everybody else to see that Aaron and Jericho are still alive, and we're doing it.
Yeah, yeah. You know, we were talking before we started doing the podcast here. You know, about the comic and how, you know, just some of the old stories and the homeless guys in Summerland.
Yeah,
Right.
sure.
And how they kind of had it made as far as homeless people. There were spots right on the beach where they could build their shanty houses. I seen some posts that you had of driftwood houses when it's low tide,
Yeah.
or, you know, and I, even when I moved up here to the Central Coast, there was a Pirates Cove,
Oh wow.
and there were people that just lived on the beach. You know, that's their life, you know, not necessarily a city, you know. And I see it kind of weird that, yeah, the house people and the non-house people,
Right.
but the non-house people in Summerland had it made, dude. They had it made.
Yeah, that was.
It was peaceful, not hectic. You know, I guess a block up, they got the liquor store for their beers. A block down, they got the beach. They had the, you know, train tracks, the city bus, and some really nice little bushy spots where they could put their bush houses in.
Right. Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Better than the sidewalk house out in LA.
Yeah, they were a part of our fabric of our community. Essentially, they were just, you know, guys, and I'm sure that, you know, mostly guys, but, you know, just characters in the community that were almost like kind of like cartoons to me as a kid. They were harmless to us, thankfully, and we just coexisted alongside them, you know. And they were like almost like living as Native Americans did, you know, with their own little handmade huts, or they would, you know, habitate an old warehouse space that was abandoned right by the railroad tracks. So
Yeah, yeah. That's an interesting topic, you know, because some people just choose that. They're just like, oh, city, society, step away. And I understand that too.
yeah,
Um, I just wish that I guess in my position, I help how I can. And I guess want to spread the message. If we got any listeners, I know you, Jericho, probably have done outreach, you know, at whatever level you're comfortable with.
yeah,
But I know that I'm blessed to have this house, even though I look and I'm like, oh, it's just a no light garage with, you know, garbage piling up, or not garbage, but all my important things, all my very, very important things. I don't know if you can see this one over here. I'll have to get some light in here.
yeah.
This might be interesting if you could. I got a gold pan here.
Classic. Yeah, Aaron's in gold country. So, you know, there was a gold rush in California, which is amazing. That's great, Aaron. That's cool. Hell yeah.
And even though, you know, I can't get out and go dig, there's enough people that don't have the time to do the fine processing, I guess.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
So I get opportunity.
The old,
They
the
give
old
me.
world, connecting to the earth and the old soul and the old world. That's amazing. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, viewer. We got a live viewer. We're at 30 minutes. We started early.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. So this is coffee with the Summerland kids, and it's Aaron Riggs and Jericho Walgan, and we're just about to sign off. Want to thank you guys for joining us today, and we're going to continue this week, and we're making progress. We're just chatting.
Yeah, absolutely. It's helping me reach my Twitch goal.
That's
which
cool.
I guess the Twitch has the live streamer, because the other stream, Facebook, is private.
Yeah.
But watch the replay. Check us out on YouTube. Like, follow, all that stuff.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna try and
Aaron
talk Jericho and go a little bit long today. I talked to him early. We're gonna go late.
Yeah, and Aaron and I both are on
because I wanted to get on camera, I guess, as a way of accountability. You know, this thing we're doing here has been good for me because it kind of forces me, okay, I got to get up. I want to lay down. I don't want to do nothing. I got to get up and at least get my coffee and get the chickens fed early. And so accountability is good. And I think these live meetings are awesome for accountability. But I want to try and push towards a one square.
Sharpen it up. I got a square. And I'm just going to sharpen it up, and I'll send it to you in like probably 20 minutes. I just got to sharpen the lines up a little bit. Yeah. Aaron and I are working.
All right. Yeah.
Aaron and I are working on a little Summerland Kids comic strip, and it's an amazing process to go through. You know, it's like getting ready to have children, because as thus far, I got us into the womb. Just a little sneak preview. So we're in the womb, and but we're not born yet. So
yeah, it's I'm going to let our one viewer. I'm going to let out some of the storyline.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is that cool? Okay, so we start out. We're in the city, right? We're in the city. It's like a hell, a purgatory, if you will, and we're like souls or sperms or whatever. We're like, let's go to the beach. And so the old beach tunnel that we used to go through, I don't know, it was like a 5-foot drainage tunnel that went under the town all the way to the beach. And as kids, some of us would go through it. And so we're like, there's a sign, there's a city, and he made the cartoon strip, and I edited it. I hacked it. And so we go to the beach. Absolutely. And we come out of the tunnel, and we're riding a wave, and then we hit the whitewash. And I'm writing a little story. We're talking about the story, and it's awesome because just the little cartoon squares, I kind of suggested Jericho use it as a meditation to tap into his grandfather, like his good conscience on his shoulder.
Yeah, right behind me.
Archiving the comics and the whole legacy and continuing it in a way. It's spending 5 minutes to make one square, start one comic strip, so Jericho could maybe tune into his grandpa while he's doing this archiving and really tap into that child, that essence, that flow state. And so we started, and I found that if I don't get the little square, I get writer's block. I can't write any more of the story.
Exactly. Feeding the fire.
Yeah.
Cheers, man.
And
thanks for joining us, man. Yeah.
All right, we're way past. We've given the live viewer. We got a live viewer, Jericho. We have to stream longer. I get more and more time. Right. I get the awesome. More time I get, the more points I earn on Twitch.
I know. Come back tomorrow for more. We'll be live tomorrow morning.
Yeah, cool. And if check the YouTube, like and follow. It helps the algorithms.
Absolutely. Have a great day. Thank you, Aaron. Cheers, folks.